Hello parents, I'm Mr. Howard Yu. Today I'd like to share with you about post-prelim reflection and peaking towards PSLE. I'm currently the principal of one academy, and while I was a former PE teacher in Pei Hwa Presbyterian Primary School, which I'm wearing proudly this current uniform of Pei Hwa Presbyterian Primary School, and I was a former PSLE Signs marker for 3 years representing the school. So I'm very thankful that I'm given this opportunity to help your child to improve in science. Today is the 30th of August, and let me show you my plan to help your child to make good use of the time to peak towards PSLE. So from today, 30th of August to the 4th of September, adopt a relaxed mood to help your child to review his or her prelim results and do error analysis. Try to speak in a constructive mood to understand why your child made certain mistake instead of blaming your child. So we need to be sensitive to the child because, like last year's, perhaps up to 10% of P6 cohort, they do suffer some sort of emotional stress during the prolonged circuit breaker and HBL. So this year, I also observed that there are some students encountering such stress. So as parents, as educators, we need to be very sensitive of how we respond to our child's prelim performance. So from the 6th of September, which is coming Monday, to the 9/11, 11th of September, Saturday, this is a 1-week scheduled break for the students. And I understand that many schools actually ask the P6 student to return for revision. So it is up to your discretion whether you want your child to attend, because by default MOE, they send out the letter. But if a parent wish that the child may actually learn better under a certain coach, the parent actually can write into the school saying that, thank you very much, my child is well taken care, and my child will attend so-and-so's training, because so-and-so's training has a smaller group of students. So maybe the teacher in the school can concentrate on those who need more help. My child will be taken care, for example, by Mr. Yu in his science PSLE training. And also remember to spend at least, I recommend maybe 1.5 to 2 days with your child to encourage to have family bonding or with your friends. Because this period is actually very critical, this 1-week break. You need to let your child to relax first, and maybe even consider bring your child for something that she or he haven't tried before, like a foot massage or the body massage or jacuzzi or a staycation, something that will your child feel loved and feel being appreciated. Then your child can actually conquer the mountain, just like the mountain behind me in Peru. That because the PSLE is like conquering the first mountain in their lives. But the PSLE is not the only thing, because there are many students I see in the past 23 years of my coaching and education, they are slower developers, or we call late developers. So I give you one encouragement. There was one student who was a P6 boy. Actually, he stayed in my neighborhood. And that year, actually, his dad passed on. So as a caring tutor, I asked him to come to my house. I will help him to give him free coaching and free help. Yeah, anyway, we are neighbors, right? So just a few blocks away, he came and my wife cooked for this boy. He tried his best, but he only scored 1.8 something. And that will qualify him for an NA course in a secondary school. So I'm very thankful that this boy actually qualified to get into Kranji Secondary School, which I actually encourage parents to consider selecting Kranji Secondary School, because it's one of the best neighborhood schools in Choa Chu Kang and Bukit Batok. And my son actually qualified for the school 3 years ago. Now he's Sec 3. And he just met the cutoff point at that year. I think it's 233 or 234. So coming back to this boy who actually enters NA with 185, he's a late developer. And then because maybe going through some grief and some family issues, he able to live out of his so-called like small depression or small challenges in his life. So I'm very thankful that we still keep in touch. And I was very glad that this boy actually made it to the top NA student. And actually he studied his first year in Singapore Polytechnic in aerospace. And just last one, he told me, hey, Mr. Yu, I already signed on to join the Air Force. And because he did a full perfect score in his aerospace in SP, he got 4.0 for his GPA. I believe the SAF is giving him a scholarship or some sort of training award. And now he is a junior officer in the Republic of Singapore Air Force, and I wish him well. So you see, as caring teachers and educators, as parents, we need to understand and be sensitive to every child's individual needs. So this 1 week break, I highly encourage you to bring your child. You can see in my YouTube video, there are some places that you can consider, like the Singapore Botanic Garden, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And there's this Sam Kopku house, which I think is very good. You can bring your child there to enjoy Cameron Highland climate, and then relax maybe by the seaside. Bring your child to have a dinner at the this place which I've been there recently. There's an MRT station, Tuas West. There's this marina, marina resort. And also coming back, the remaining 15 days from the 13th of September to the 28th of September, I called it or term it peaking towards PSLE. Because I was a sports coach and a PE teacher, so before the athletes go for the Olympics, and I'm very thankful that Mr. C. Kunalan, Singapore's Olympian, is actually my mentor during my NIE training days as a PE teacher. We still keep in touch and he's quite healthy. So this is peaking towards the Olympics or the PSLE in a child's life. Maybe the PSLE is equivalent to the Olympics in a child's life. So we need to encourage, we need to give them good nutrition, help them to relax, help them to be focused during the 15 days from the 13th of September to the 28th of September. Okay, bear in mind in between that this 17th of September PSLE listening exam, they have the Chinese or the mother tongue in the morning, followed by a relatively long intermission. And I encourage my students, actually, the PSLE listening comprehension is something MOE want to give you all free marks. So aim to get perfect score is possible. Remember, it's possible. And then comes to the written paper, which starts on the 30th of September, the English paper, paper 1, paper 2, and then the following day, the mathematics paper, paper 1, paper 2. So this is my personal recommendation. It is important to let your child relax well on 29 September, Wednesday. Because you see, for the English paper, we need to perform at a relaxed state of mind. For example, in composition writing. Yeah, I cannot be sleepy and be able to give very good creative ideas. And I will not be very alert to detect my grammatical errors. Because for composition writing, we need to write in a relaxed mode. Yeah. So I recommend parents to don't give your child too much work on the 23rd or the 29th, which is a Wednesday. Therefore, I also have planned in advance for my Wednesday and Thursday PSLE Signs student classes. Do inform me early. Say, Mr. Yu, let's say that day I want to more relax. I will choose to do the online on the 4th of October, the Monday, which is after the Chinese paper. Come to my center, not come to my center, come to my online center, Zoom Pro, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Do the makeup if you can't come on Wednesday or Thursday. But however, some students, they choose to come because they find, hey, Mr. Yu lesson is actually quite relaxed. But I go to Mr. Yu center, is like going to like a country club, because he always tell us something very interesting about science, help us to de-stress. Yeah. So some students, in fact, I believe majority of them will still choose to come to my physical class, even on the Wednesday, which is the 29th of September, although the following day they are taking their English paper, or those coming on Thursday, the following day taking the mathematics paper. So parents, I let you make the choice to decide whether your child want to come for my physical class or do the makeup on the 4th of October. So this is the important thing, 4th October and 5th October. So usually children, they may stress out. Okay, stress out. on the weekend just before the Chinese or second language or mother tongue. Yeah, because you see, for most students, even my own children, right, learning Chinese is like very difficult. So parents do exercise discretion and wisdom as you gauge your child's stress level handling. Yeah, because through my observation and analysis over the years, this is my conclusion. It is almost, I say almost, that means there are some chances, almost impossible to improve by one AL grade jump by forcing your child to cram Chinese or mother tongue on a weekend just before the exam. But listen carefully, but it is possible to improve up to 2 or even 3 AL grade jump in science for proper revision just a few days before the science exam. And that has happened before. Parents text me after the PSLE, Mr. Yu, my child jump grade in prelim, right? This is the grade. Because last time was A star, right? A, then B, C. My child jump grade from C to A. Wow. When I heard such news, like my heart leaped with joy. So as like the parents and the child. So it is possible for science. Then for many parents, as well as pupils, they choose to study science even on the weekend before the Chinese exam. So this one, I ask parents to exercise your discretion to help your child. And as this is my certificate of service and character with MOE during my 6 years of service with Pei Hwa Presbyterian Primary School. And these are the students who came to my center 2 years ago. And I especially wear this uniform, which I'm wearing now, and also there to encourage the boys there. They're actually P2 students learning mathematics and English from me in the morning. Because Pei Hwa still have these double sessions, I use some of my free time to encourage them and even give them a head start of science at primary 2 level. And these are girls from various schools. They were taking PSLE that year, and I coached them and they gained confidence in taking the exam and also proceed to secondary. So it is important to know that what examiner look for in examination, in particular the PSLE Signs. So number one, students must be able to give precise scientific answer. And secondly, demonstrate application of concepts. And application concept is the focus in all the section B questions. So pupils should be able to apply scientific facts, concepts, principles in new situations. Okay, new situation means like there may be situations they have not seen before. So you can visit my YouTube channel, One Academy Science Harvard, to see some of these new situations, which I've also shared this example here. This is a new situation. This paper actually appears in last year's last questions, question 40. Because you notice here, they say a thin layer of white solid form on the surface of the plastic wrap. So most students are being exposed to tiny water droplets. If you end there, you won't get the 2 marks because water droplet is not in solid form. You need one more step. The water droplet loses heat to the external surface of the plastic wrapping and freezes into ice flakes, something like that. So do subscribe and view my One Academy YouTube Science channel. And this is another question which demands the highest level of science process skill, which I call hypothesis formation. Because hypothesis formation is the most difficult SPS, science process skill, on page 8 of my SB, my science Bible. And also I made a personal note in this marking. I say that this question is unfair to students or children with lower English competency. That means students who may not be strong in English, they may not even understand what the question is asking for. So you can see this child here. The child says shirt with malaria smell. Because malaria is not a smell, it's a disease. So it's actually the smell or the body odor of the people wearing the shirt. So what I help students to gain confidence is I tell them, because Mr. Yu was a former PSLE Section B science marker for 3 years, representing a SEP school. So Mr. Yu can teach you that you can write in point format, that your answers will be accepted. Because for PSLE Science Section B marking, We do not adopt, I repeat, we do not adopt composition English marking skills, or we do not adopt such strict English grammatical error marking. We accept students even giving point form, but I think many students, they are not aware because the teachers always hope that the child write in coherent, beautiful English, cannot accept English. But SEAB did not say cannot accept English, because for PSLE marker, we need to be fair in marking. We need to be fair to the students. As long as the students able to show conceptual application in the questions, we should be able to award the marks. So everyone got hope. Cheers. And this is another questions. 2020, question 32B on malaria. And I mentioned here, this is a hot question. What is hot? Hot means higher order thinking. Higher order thinking. And this question actually requires application skills. And I believe that less than 20% of students in last year's paper get the full marks. You see, this student actually may not understand and he gave up, left a blank there. So this is actually the model answer from the publisher. It's quite a mouthful. You can freeze the screen and read the answer. But I'm teaching students to write in concise, acceptable answers, which will get the 2 marks. So do join my YouTube channel, and most importantly, find time to join my 2 days PSLE Signs training in the coming September holiday. And if you can't, subscribe to my YouTube channel Science video to learn. And these are the SPS, the science process skills required by MOE for students in P3 to P6. As you can see, formulating hypothesis is the highest order of science process skill. And this is the new mark range being imposed this year. So let me share with you the good news. Let's examine a student scoring 74. After my training, I'm able to upgrade the students to score 85 with 11 marks improvement. So with this 11 marks improvement, you can actually see there's a 3-grade jump from AL5, 74 to 85 marks in AL2. So 5 minus 2 is 3 AL grade jumps. So for science, it's very possible. It's achievable. And this is a very typical questions, condensation, evaporation questions. And do you know why we can't use air to replace water vapor? Because you remember in primary 5, we learned about air composition. Air consists of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, plus other gases. So if you say that air loses heat and condense, do you mean that it will form liquid oxygen or liquid nitrogen? So for these questions, we must use water vapor. So water vapor, they lose heat to the surrounding and condense to form tiny water droplets. So we need to be very precise. And this is a very good testimony. These 11 students from the same school, after their SA1, they were disappointed with their score. So the parent found my training and they subscribed to my training. And because that time was only a 1-day training, just 1 day, after my 1-day training, and this is the result, and they were very happy. As you can see, 100% of them made improvement, and more than 54% improved by 25% or higher. Because 6 out of 11, they achieved 25% improvement or higher after Mr. Yu's 1-day training. And to help your child more, the 1 day has been increased to 2 days training. And this is the book I published that has helped many students over the past years. You can mail order $14 or copy or 2 copies at a discounted rate. And this is so-called my Science Bible. So in my lesson, I remind the student, hey, today do you bring Mr. Yu's Science Bible? Please refer to page 72 of this scientific concept to answer these questions, or refer to page 68, that scientific concept to answer these questions. Because what I teach them is using scientific concepts to apply it to new situations. So those students who enroll for this training, do not need to buy the book because it's included in the fees. So my objective, for example, your child is at AL3, My objective is to help your child to achieve AL2 or even an AL1. So the Science Bible is included in the fees. And I'd like to share with you this 1-minute video presentation to encourage and to motivate you to consider signing up for my training. This is my YouTube channel. As you can see, One Academy Science Howard. Currently, I have 272 subscribers. So these are the questions I've mentioned, the last year's PSLE questions. You can click on the icon and learn step by steps how to answer them. And here is the video, which about my Iron Dome 7's training, which I help to share with your child. And maybe do a screen share here. Enjoy the video. Thank you, parents. And I hope that the video has motivated you. Let me continue the last slide of the video presentation. So this is the training, which I've just mentioned and have seen the video presentation, the powerful 1-minute video presentation. So this training is a 7 hours of live online training. So not to worry, because this is not my first time conducting. I've conducted this training over the years. So students will have sufficient break. And then in between, they have a 55-minute lunch break to allow their eyes to rest, the computer to rest. And I know that some students, if they choose to attend the school training, they may not attend this 2-day training because perhaps the timetable will clash. So I made a special provision to prorate student at 180 if the student can only attend 1-day live coaching. And after the 1 day, I will send a link for the parents to help the child to view the highlights of the sessions which the child has missed. So quickly enroll now by calling me or WhatsApp me at 8268-5299. So once again, I wish parents be sensitive to your child, especially after the prelim. Encourage them and motivate them to do well, focus, and let Mr. Yu do the final lab with them in my science PSLE training to help your child to achieve the peak performance in their coming life Olympian. Maybe it's the Olympics for them, but as parents, as educators, we always encourage them to be able to perform to their best ability and enjoy the learning process because it's a lifelong learning. Thank you for staying in tune, and do remember to subscribe to my One Academy Science Howard YouTube channel, and stay healthy, stay focused, take care, God bless.